I've spent years talking to people who have been hurt by the church, and there's something that I've noticed. Many of them know their story. They know what happened to them. They can tell you the details. They remember the persons that have hurt them, the leaders who've hurt them. They remember being abandoned, excommunicated, and just treated so harshly. The problem isn't that they don't know what happened to them. The problem is that they don't know what to do with what happened to them. This is where a lot of church hurt people get stuck because they don't know how to process their story. And so in this session right now, I'm going to explain to you how to process your story and to heal the way that Jesus wants you to heal. Because the only way to truly heal is not to only know what happened to you, but to process it and heal the way that God wants you to. Most people are trying to heal something that they haven't defined yet. You can't heal a wound that you have not yet identified. And yet, this is where most people start. They say, the church hurt me. Okay, how? What happened? Who was involved? What were the things that were said? What was done? And what wasn't done? The reason why this matters is because vague wounds stay open, but specific wounds can heal. One of the biggest mistakes I see people who have been church hurt do is that they either minimize what's happened to them or they over-exaggerate. They say things like, it wasn't that bad, or everything about that place was just toxic. And neither of these help. Healing starts with real honesty, not minimizing, not overly exaggerating, but just simply telling the truth in what happened in your story. Here's what I've learned. The story that you haven't talked about, the one that you have been avoiding, is actually the starting place of your healing journey. That's the story that needs to be processed. That's why one of the first things that I have the people that I serve who've been church hurt do is write their story out. Not that writing in itself heals you, but writing helps get out what's already inside of you and it brings it to light. I encourage the people who have been church hurt to write their story out because movement brings clarity, while confusion can keep you stuck. See, church hurt hurts differently because trust was involved. One thing that I've seen throughout my research and helping counsel those who've been hurt by the church is this. They say things like, church hurt hurts differently because it comes from the church. And honestly, I agree, they're right. Because church isn't just another place. It's a place where people get to meet the true and living God. Church is where people find community and connection with one another. So when trust gets broken there, it not only affects your relationship with people, it can sometimes feel like it affects your relationship with God. It can affect how you see yourself. It can affect how you see others. It can even affect how you see the world. I hear countless stories about church hurt, and one story recently that stood out to me was about a guy who got removed from ministry and never explained why. What stood out to me most about his story wasn't about him losing a position, it's about what happened to him afterward. He started questioning his salvation. Think about that. The event happened once, but the questions stay. And this is what church hurt does. The event ends, but the story still continues. And if nobody helps you process the story, your mind usually creates answers on its own, and usually bad ones. This is where I believe a lot of bad advice is given. People will say, just get over it, or you simply just need to forgive, or you just need to move on. The problem is that healing doesn't happen just because time passes. Healing happens when pain gets processed. You can spend 10 years avoiding something and still be wounded by it. You can spend 10 years sitting in church and still be wounded by it. You can spend 10 years in ministry and still be wounded by it. Time doesn't heal what isn't processed. Processing heals what is processed. And that's why I believe people who've been church hurt aren't looking for another sermon. They're looking for a pathway to heal. They're trying to figure out what happened. Why did this affect me so deeply? Why am I feeling so much pain, resentment, anger, or frustration? Why can't I move on? And oftentimes those who've been hurt by the church are doing this alone. I want to encourage you, if you've been hurt by a church or a church leader or a community from a church, that today is going to be a start of a great healing journey. You may not be able to fully forgive tonight, but you're going to take tremendous steps in the right direction to help bring healing. So I encourage you, let's begin processing that church hurt by writing your story. Write out what happened, the details. Think about it as writing a biography. Start with the beginning, middle, and end. Be as detailed as possible about the story and the church hurt that you've gone through. Don't leave anything out. This is a great tool to help you process and to move forward. Now, as you write your story, I want to encourage you, include as much as emotion as possible. See, your emotions are a tool that God has given you. They're meant to help you process what you're feeling underneath the surface. A lot of churches say, don't think about your emotions, don't feel your emotions. In fact, don't be led by your emotions. Did you know that people who don't understand or process their emotions, those who are unable to identify them, they are the ones that are led by them? So you understanding your emotions is a huge part of your healing journey. So write out as much as emotion as possible with the event that happened to you. Now, after you write out the event and you write out all the emotions that you felt, I want to encourage you, take some time to read your story out loud quietly to God. As you spend time with God and you're reading your story out loud, allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to grieve. Allow those tears to come up, and it may feel uncontrollable. It may feel like this is some deep pain that you've been carrying, and this is all okay. You see, this is the start of your healing story. When you're able to write out your story, identify the emotions that you felt, and allow yourselves to feel through it, this is the first step in that direction. And so I want to encourage you with this first video, if you need some help processing your church hurt, comment help. And what I'll do is I will send you our healing journey exercise. This exercise will help you process through your church hurt and help you to get to the healing that Jesus wants for you.